and it's the Mountaineer Sports Insider once again. Tannor Lambert here, the sports director at U92. Luke Blaine, the sports editor over at the Daily Athenaeum, and myself had a great opportunity that we've been teasing for some time now today, and that was to sit down and have a chat with the new Vice President and Director of Athletics here at West Virginia University, Mr. Wren Baker. Wren was first introduced last December, and there has been a lot that has happened since then, and Luke and I were fortunate enough to sit down and talk to him for about a half hour today. Before we get into the conversation, though, we would like to remind you to go and pick up your copy of the Daily Athenaeum this week on Wednesday from any of the blue bins around campus or at the Daily Athenaeum building near Prospect and Price Street. This week's edition is special to Luke and myself, for that matter. I have a little story in there, but Luke and his sports staff over at the DA have worked very hard on this edition. It's the MSI edition of the paper, and Luke told me earlier today that it is one of the best sports pages that he's been a part of in his time at the DA. There's all kinds of previews for fall sports in there and so much more. So make sure you pick up your copy this Wednesday. We'd also like to invite you to join us on Sports Night, 6 to 10 Wednesday night on U92 The Moose. You can go to u92themoose.com and click Listen Live there. Luke and I will be back again together Friday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on Beat the Clock, also available on U92 The Moose, and if you search the sports page on your podcast platform. We'll have another Mountaineer Sports Insider episode for you on Friday as well, previewing the Penn State game, obviously, but also discussing this week in Mountaineer soccer and volleyball and some of the other fall sports that have gotten underway, as well as really be able to dive back into our conversation with Wren. Enjoy the conversation. Hello, welcome into the Mountaineer Sports Insider. Tannor Lambert alongside Luke Blaine, and we have a very special guest for you today. We've been talking about this for months on our end, but we're so happy to finally get it done. We're at the Coliseum today, and we're interviewing the Director of Athletics, Wren Baker. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed you guys' podcast a few times. I haven't heard them all, but looking forward to doing this one today.
Awesome. Well, that's nice to hear, isn't it, Luke?
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it. We're just one of many guests we have down the line.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of work. We're ready to hit the ground running this semester, and we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, we had Coach Kellogg on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We had Coach Leasock on last semester, women's tennis coach, and that was probably our best episode I think we've done as far as the metrics we can or can't see. But definitely the episodes where we have guests seem to be more popular, especially because, they get sick of me and Luke, I think.
I would think that you guys would sell the thing out just on your own. I mean, your charisma and charm.
Well, thank you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's nice of you. So you were hired last December, all right? So not even a calendar year in yet. And I would say it's been probably one of the craziest tenures across the country over the last 10, 15 years maybe. Not speaking on just what's happening here, but you come into a new league and all of the conference expansion talk as well. It's been a wild time in college athletics. Yeah,
it really has. And but you do this long enough and you do it at enough places, you understand that there are times when there's lots going on and lots of chaos, and you don't always control what occurs and what happens. You can only control your reaction to it, and we've tried to do that, and we've tried to be steadfast and professional about it. And there's been lots of good things too. I've met so many wonderful people, and had a chance to watch baseball win a conference championship, and see Coach Mazey get Coach of the Year and JJ get Player of the Year, and there's just a lot of awesome things that's happened too. And sometimes we lose sight of those when there's those chaotic times, but I've really had a great time, and I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned you got your girls and family all moved up now. How has just the transition from Texas to Morgantown been?
Good. So they came, they finished out the school year. So Heather and my youngest daughter, Reagan, came around the 1st of June. And then my oldest daughter has type 1 diabetes. So she actually went to a camp that's like 3 weeks long there in Texas. And so she came kind of last week of June, but they've loved it. As you know, Texas has been scorching multiple days, 108, 109, 110 type days. And so here the weather is the same every day. Weather person here has the easiest job in the world. High 85, low of 62, 25% chance of rain. So summers in Morgantown, like every day is Groundhog Day for the most part. But so we've enjoyed it. We've got a chance to go out and see the state some, and they're loving school, they're loving life, and they've adjusted very well.
That's good. That's good to hear. So you got to see the back half of basketball and then all of the spring sports and, the rest of the winter sports and that, but you haven't been here for football yet. And, you get a little warm up with Duquesne, but to have a night game with the backyard brawl coming in here, something that's not been done in a long, long time, it's just got to be exciting, right?
It is exciting, and I can't wait to see the fans, to walk the tailgates, to take in the environment. It's interesting because I've stuck my head into a few game prep and planning meetings, and the amount of discussion that's occurring on just trying to keep order on that Pitt game. I'm like, it can't be this crazy. And they were like, oh, yes, it can. A 7 p.m. Game in the backyard brawl, that's going to be a wild day. But it's going to be a fun day, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, we were talking last spring, and it was just like, there's no way they're going to let that be a night game, right? Like last year, they didn't even let it be on a Saturday. They're not going to let it be a night game. And then they got announced, and we're like, okay. And you start to hear and you look around, and McAfee's talking a little bit, trying to get game day to potentially come here, all of the things that could come with that. It's one of the probably most look forward to days in a long time here on campus.
Yeah, it's such a special rivalry, and I've been pretty strong in my desire and belief that we should play Pitt in every sport we can as many times as we can. People's excitement over the backyard brawl football edition is certainly cemented that. The enthusiasm that game alone has, we could have probably sold the stadium out twice, to be honest. And so we're very excited to have it here and to be able to get going.
Yeah, so did you really have how much of an idea did you have before you came here about the backyard brawl and just how much that meant to fans? And has that changed? Has your perception changed since coming here? Or?
Yeah, I knew, first of all, that the fan passion here was very high. I think most people nationally knew that. I knew about the backyard brawl, and I knew about the rivalry with Pitt, but probably didn't understand the depths of it. It's one of those things you can't really understand until you experience. Much like I say this all the time, they told me in the interview process how much the university and the athletic program means to the people of the state, but you really can't get a sense for it until you've actually been here and driven this state and stopped at some random convenience store and people are like, hey, welcome to West Virginia, and you just know, hey, they follow this program at a level of which they know who you are, and they very much are paying attention. And so I think the rivalry is like that. You understand it's a rivalry, but everybody has rivalries, right? But it definitely takes on a different tone and tenure, and just the demand for tickets alone has been pretty impressive.
That's awesome to hear. Speaking on football a little bit, I think that this year they've got a lot of opportunity in the schedule, and I wanted to talk more a little bit about travel, not really the team itself. They're going to Texas and Oklahoma and Florida. That really is it. So the travel this year is pretty much better, I think, than most years where you're traveling to at least the same sort of areas of the country. With the new Big 12, obviously that could look a little bit different. You do have two teams now in the Eastern Time Zone, which has not been the case for the last decade. And you talked about travel at your press conference last week a little bit, but how it could look different for this team moving forward. And, there's still teams out there that are looking to maybe join leagues and whatnot, and how it could even change even more.
Yeah, I hate just the general lack of geographic proximity that's happened in college athletics. And it's happened for a reason. The most valuable properties in terms of a television perspective are going to be some of the bigger brands in each time zone. So if you're trying to maximize value, you're going to try and pick up big brands in different time zones, right? And so that's how, at a very high 50,000-foot level, that's how you kind of get to the place that we're at. But there's a lot that's lost in that. We don't really have a conference opponent other than Cincinnati, which we're really excited about them coming in. That's easy for our fans to drive to, and that certainly hasn't changed with the conference expansion. It's not going to be easy for football and basketball, but by and large, they get on a chartered plane with only members of the team travel party. They fly straight to the city that they're going to play in. They get on a bus that's only them, and then they go to the hotel or the game or the venue. You talk about a lot of our other sports. They get on a bus and they bus up to Pittsburgh, get on a commercial flight with everybody else. We try and make sure they don't have middle seats if they're 6'4", 6'5", but you can't guarantee that always. They may have to connect somewhere and catch a connection. So if they get weather delayed, they're like all the rest of us, hustling through an airport trying to figure out a connection or trying to mobilize and move people. So those are probably the sports, honestly, that I worry more about, because any kind of complicated trip for them makes it more difficult. Now, there are direct flights often to the Phoenix area and some of those locations we picked up, but many times they'll require connections. So my hope is that we can say, hey, at 16, are there opportunities to schedule more regionally? Could we play in divisions? Could we play in even 4-team pods within that division? Maybe go round robin with the teams in your pod and go, make sure you play everybody in the other pod in your division, but not go from the East Coast to the West. I think there are opportunities to look at something like that, but we're pretty early into the process, but I've been steadfast all along the way that that's something we need to consider.
Yeah, when you talk about regionality in terms of scheduling, and the football team, their 2 non-conference away games are in Pennsylvania, right? So, or wait, no, there's only one non-conference away game. It's in PA. But has there been any talk of maybe branching out of conference more locally? Looking at schools in Ohio, even maybe with Marshall. Some I know that men's soccer plays Marshall because Sun Belt Conference, and I know that tennis does at least too. But has there been talks of that for any? And
baseball plays Marshall.
That's right.
Yes. So I think it all depends on which opponents are willing to look at deals. If it's Power 5, home and home, and if it's non-Power 5, we really need to buy teams in here, or at a minimum do 2-for-1 type arrangements. But we really would like to buy teams in here. Game days here are huge for the local economy, and it's important for those reasons. But it's also important when you play 9 games in a league that's as tough as the Big 12 to try to make sure that you set yourself up in the non-conference to have some success. So, in a perfect world, we would be in a Power 5 with a regional rival. My preference would be Pitt, but in years where it's not Pitt, it could be a Penn State, it could be a Virginia Tech or Virginia or something like that. Then a relevant group of 5 rival, a name that people know, a name that that they would have some knowledge of. We don't want to necessarily go and play New Mexico State, right, or somebody like that nobody knows anything about. And then ultimately an FCS opponent, and that's important just because it becomes a numbers game to ensure that you always have 7 and sometimes 8 home games. So that's really what we're focused on going forward. Now the problem is going forward 7 or 8 years from now, schedules are done for a long time. So, but we'll play the schedules that we have out unless there's an opportunity to, if the SEC were to go to 8 and 9 conference games or something like that, that could open up some opportunities to move some things around. But in the future, we're really looking at that model.
Well, I think people are looking forward to playing Alabama in the home and home. That's something that I've had circled for a long time on the calendar. That's something you're not always going to see on a team's non-conference schedule, especially coming to Morgantown. I wanted to get your feel too. Right, first game week here on campus. Obviously, it's at Penn State, but there's a lot of hype among the student body that I have noticed, and I think Luke could say the same, where in years past, sometimes week one's not always been great. Last year it was, but a lot of people seem like they're making the trip up to Happy Valley, which is nice, right? 3.5 hours away or so, not too bad. Yeah. It's an old rivalry that hasn't been played in 30 years.
Yeah. I actually was talking to an alum last night who was at was here in the days when we played Penn State pretty regularly, and he was very excited about the game. He lives in Arizona now, but so there's a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. I think anytime you open up with a premier opponent, a top 10 opponent, an opponent that's expected to compete for the CFP, but it's also somebody who's regional to you, and so there's some water cooler talk amongst family and friends, and then ultimately, it's at a place that there's going to be sold out crowd and a great venue and a whiteout. It just adds a lot of extra juice to it. So I'm excited. I haven't been to Penn State for a game. Growing up in the Southwest, Midwest parts of the country, you don't get up to Northeast venues much, and so I'm really excited about it.
It's good to hear.
Yeah. So.
Well, we wanted to ask you a little bit about
yeah.
football and get into more of that, but we also wanted this to be more of a conversation and a chance for you to talk with the students, because we do have a lot of students that listen, a lot of faculty that listen, which is exciting for us, right? This thing, it just started last semester, but, this is a different kind of avenue that maybe you're not used to talking on. And so we wanted to get to know you a little bit more, right? You're still fairly new on campus. There's just been a lot that's happened that has taken you kind of away where we haven't got the chance to talk to you yet, and we do appreciate the opportunity today. So we just want to get to know you better as well, not just talk about athletics.
Well, no doubt about it, and one of the things that drew me here was our students. Honestly, there are places. So at North Texas where I was, we had a great student population there, but because we were in a metropolitan area. A lot of our students commuted some. A lot of them went part-time, honestly, and had jobs and were trying to pay their way through school. But then there's also a lot of distractions in the marketplace. You have the Rangers, you have the Cowboys, of course, you have the Mavericks, and a variety of other pro and collegiate franchises there in Dallas-Fort Worth. And so, coming here, I knew that we were the state's pro team, and there's something special about that. There's something unique about the identity that West Virginians have, and the connection they feel, and the connection that our students feel to this state and to this place. And so really excited to be able to spend time with the students and to hang out with them. At basketball and baseball, was able to interact some with the Maniacs and had a good time with them. And so that's probably one of the more fun parts of the job.
Good. Have you been on the PRT yet?
I have not yet. No, yeah, and I want to, and my girls desperately want to. So I need to get over there and do that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think that's a heck of a way to get to game day.
Yeah,
especially coming from downtown, and you walk down, and then you can. It's like coming up on the law school. I don't know if you've come up the hill. Well, no, you haven't for football yet. There's two ways, to get to the blue lot where you can see the whole thing from up above, and that's up at the law school hill, where you can look down and see it. And then if you come off the PRT over at Health Science, it's quite the scene, and it's something you don't have really, as far as I've seen, and I've been a lot of places anywhere else, right? I've been to game day at Ohio State many times, and it's nothing like here. And I try to get people to come here all the time to experience it, because it really is the only place in the country that's like this. Did you have something first?
No.
Okay, so when we had Coach Kellogg on Friday, he said to us something that, is kind of talked about, but not always really known nationally, I guess, and that's that West Virginia, the University of Nebraska, and the University of Arkansas are the only three schools that are the only Power 5 in their state with no pro teams. And so that's something here, while there is a smaller population here to most states, it is true. And you've talked a little bit about, that flying WVs everywhere. And what that could mean, for recruiting and that sort of stuff, is West Virginia is still in this Big 12 that stayed together and somewhere where they, I think, could be in a really safe spot and one that they can grow from moving forward.
Yeah, so let me talk about just the extension of our brand first and foremost. It is a very powerful and unique brand. I tell people all the time, we have a state flag. I couldn't pick it out of the other 50 because I don't ever see it being flown. I see the United States flag and the flying WV flag. And so I think that's something that's unique here, just how powerful and connected people feel to the university and the athletic department. The Big 12, in this process of realignment and assessing different candidates, they did a lot of evaluations, looking at a ton of different metrics. And so despite the fact that we're in a state that doesn't carry a significant population, our value, which they measure in a lot of different things, but primarily through how much of the market you command, is always top 4 or 5. Okay. And so just speaks to really how that affinity, how strong it is with people. And so when you look at the new Big 12, yes, we lost a couple of tradition-rich programs, resource-rich programs in Oklahoma and Texas, but we pick up some really fun and cool markets and programs that can penetrate those markets. And then, it's such a, you got your teams you pick out in the Southwest. You got the 2 teams in Utah, and you pick up UCF, who I always describe as new money, so to speak. They're kind of the young, hip kid that made some good decisions and has come into their own. And so I think it's going to be a fun conference, unique conference, but I also think it's a conference that we're positioned to do very well in.
Good. That's good to hear. So, I mean, the Daughters, they want to go to Orlando when UCF and West Virginia
I'm sure they make that trip. We went to Disney World a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And I spent 2 days there, and when we finished, I told them they can go back as often as they want, but I will never go back again. If I do, I'll stay at the hotel room. So,
okay.
Yeah, about 45,000 steps in 2 days. That's about all of the Disney World that I wanted. So. No, my girls, they love it, and we had a great time. And Orlando is such a neat place to visit because of all the amusement parks and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, Luke, he's a big Star Wars guy. You like Star Wars?
I like Star Wars.
Well, you go hop on the Millennium Falcon now. Like, that's new.
No, that's right. That's right.
No?
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short. We're both Star Wars.
Well, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just kind of a Space Mountain guy. I'll just go, it's the oldest ride, but I'll just keep going back.
I was never... Oh, man, my mom's going to hate me mentioning this, but I hated roller coasters. I've always hated roller coasters. And my mom we were with a group, and there was kind of a no way out for me, and we had to go on Space Mountain, and it just traumatized me.
Yeah.
Man. It was awful. But she's probably not going to appreciate me telling that. But I just wanted to also, I saw you around at a few of the tennis matches last year, and I just wanted to, how has coming here and getting to know all these new athletic programs, getting to know coaches, players. How's that been ever since you came here?
Yeah, it's been great. And I like, if I'm in town and I don't have a conflict, I'm always going to be at the matches and games. Like that's the fun part of the job. To be honest, not every part of this job is fun. It's always funny. I'll have kids sometimes that come in and they're like, hey, what do I need to do to have your job one day? And then I always walk them through. You need to know what this job actually is, because you think it's just hanging out at games all the time. And that's like such a small portion of it. But that is the most enjoyable part of it, to get to know young people and get to see them do something that they love and they're passionate about. And they don't win every match and every game. But they compete every match and every game. And I think when you're in the business of developing people, you love to see people fight through adversity, overcome difficult circumstances, and continue to compete through it all. So, I love to come, love to be around. Most of the sports that we've had at other places that I've been. I think this is my second men's soccer, because men's soccer there's not a lot of men's soccer programs. Second gymnastics. I don't think I don't think there's any sport here that it's my second wrestling. So some of those that aren't.
What about rifle?
Yeah, I was about to ask about rifle.
Second rifle. I worked at the University of Memphis, and Memphis has a good rifle team. Yeah. So there's a few that this is only my second place to have, but all of the sports I had interacted with on some level before. I don't probably know the same depth of knowledge as all of them. They wouldn't want me to sub in and coach some of those sports, but love watching them compete, and just really enjoy watching them grow and develop.
Yeah, so on that note, there were a couple programs I wanted to ask about, specifically because Luke loves the tennis program, and that's one that we like to highlight on MSI. Mine's golf. I love the golf team. I saw you down at Pete Dye. I didn't really get the chance to talk to you, just a little bit. I think I said something about the weather different than Texas, because it was like 40 and raining, and it was late April. It was not fun, and it was not fun for them out on the golf course playing 36 holes in 2 days and those conditions, not a red number in round one. But to have a course like Pete Dye being able to be the home course of the university is something that I think a lot of other places don't have either, right? It's a course that you can't walk, right? You got to drive the cart on there and that sort of thing. And it's also, I think, the newest program here at West Virginia. So, is there any ideas you have for growing that program or anything like that?
Yeah, I think what we're doing right now is going to be a game changer in that we're building a practice facility out there in conjunction with them. And so, as you articulated, the weather here in the spring isn't always conducive to going out and playing 9 or 18 every day, or even going out to the driving range sometimes. So having a world-class indoor practice facility is something that we've needed for a long time, and that's finally coming to fruition. And I know Coach and the team are Coach Kovich very excited about it, but so is the team. I mean, every time I talk to them, if I haven't been down there in 2 or 3 weeks, they'll say, "Have you been down and seen the building?" And, I'm like, "No, it's been a couple of weeks," but they're all very, very excited, and that should really help that program a lot.
Yeah, I hope so. That's awesome to hear. And the other one, swim and dive. Big 12 championships here in Morgantown for the first time, I think, for any sport. That comes in, I think, February, and we'll be out there. I'm excited to see what that does with Coach Riggs and what they're doing. Lots of medals last year at Big 12s, and now it's coming home.
Yeah,
right? That's got to be exciting.
Yeah, what a great facility that is. A unique partnership between us and the county to build that facility. And it's just a gorgeous, beautiful facility that not only can our teams use, but the high school teams and the community get to use. And so we're excited to host the Big 12. We would like to make it the permanent side of the Big 12. So, maybe you all can help campaign for that while they're here.
Sounds good. I mean, the national team too, right?
Yeah.
Diving trials are going to be there
yeah.
too for the Olympic team. Not something you see every day here in Morgantown, but definitely something that's exciting and coming.
Yeah, and
you two need to jump off the top platform.
I'd do it.
Yeah.
Listen, I run a swim team. Okay.
All right.
I'm in. Let's go.
Ugh,
If you do it, you gonna do it with
somebody
us?
that's scared of Space Mountain is not jumping off the platform.
No, I'm not a fan of heights
Yeah.
either. I don't know. You could probably
it's
tell.
not that high.
How high?
What is it? I think they got a 10 meter there.
No, it's pretty high.
I think it's 10 meter. I think it's something like that. Oh, no, that's easy. I'll dive off it. Let's go. You give me permission, dude. I'll do it. I'm in.
I think you can do it.
Yeah. Maybe we have to
Maybe.
set up a fundraiser.
Maybe.
Just a media fundraiser.
Yeah, something like that.
Get the
Yeah.
MSI host.
That sounds good.
We could do that.
Okay.
I can.
He's in. See that?
Yeah.
He's
all
going to do it too.
I'm in if you're in.
I didn't say I was in to jump. I'm in to watch you guys jump.
Oh, okay.
I jumped off a 50-foot cliff in Jamaica one time, and I survived that, but I'm not sure I would ever do that again. I was much younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, you have anything else you'd like to add or tell the students or anything like that?
No, just that we understand, appreciate the opportunity that we have to represent this university, which a big part of the university is the student body. Certainly our alums, our faculty and staff, but our students are our lifeblood, and the energy that they bring to sporting events across the year. I mean, we had some great student crowds at baseball, and they made a difference. And now they created a beer snake or two out there that we had to regulate a little bit as cups were being thrown. But we found a way to mediate and moderate that where everybody could have a good time. So, but we love our students. We appreciate them. We're thankful that they come, and we're thankful that they chose WVU.
Awesome. Sweet. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
guys.
much.
All right, that right there was our conversation with Wren Baker. Luke and I would like to thank you for listening. He did also want me to note that he will attempt to ride Space Mountain once again. We also are, I guess, looking forward to diving off the highest platform over at the Mylan Park Aquatics facility. I know that I'm down to do it. Luke, however, I don't know if he will, but that we'll see when that comes, and maybe we'll get Baker to do it with us. Who knows? But it was a really fun conversation today that we were able to have at the Coliseum with Athletics Director Baker, and we really appreciate him taking the time. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on Twitter at Fairbanks2WVU, and we'll see you on Friday. It's the Mountaineer Sports Insider.